Top Democrats have introduced a number of bills to push for the federal legalization of marijuana. Democratic lawmakers are seeking to legalize pot. Chuck Schumer announced he is planning to introduce a bill to remove pot from the list of federally controlled substances. And House and Senate Democrats introduced the Marijuana Justice Act, which, by the way, marijuana is a kind of racist term. I don't know why we don't just all call it pot at this point.
Yeah, well, actually, there's a video on Now This that I covered that I kind of made fun of. The guy said that if you say marijuana, it's racist as fuck. But I don't go that far. I don't think people have racist intentions. Right? Yeah. You know, you can call it whatever. I just think it needs to be decriminalized and whatnot. I don't understand how you can create a bill and not include expunging all the old convictions, because like marijuana has ruined lives for some people. Like if you have like a felony, for example, like it's difficult to get jobs. If you are trying to get an apartment, you have to disclose that you have a marijuana felony on your record. It's so ridiculous. So I don't know how you can craft a bill and not include that provision.
Right, because it's such a commonly accepted substance, and it has been for years and years. We don't need to rehash all this. But, of course, Chuck Schumer is not going to do that because Chuck Schumer is in bed with the for-profit prison industry.
Right. He wants them to keep that gravy train rolling, so that way they keep his gravy train rolling and keep greasing his palms. He's so corrupt. I hate Chuck Schumer so much.
Well, you know what's funny is I think that as far as propaganda campaigns in the United States, I think that the most successful ones still, and I feel like there's a few that are really giving it a run for its money, especially as of recent. But I still think overall the greatest propaganda campaign of all time in this country was the drug war. I mean, they knew that pot was less addictive than pain pills and stuff like that, but the big pharma wanted to invest in that. So they made that bogus film. Plus, they hated the fact that black people in jazz clubs were using this for recreation. This was a different time in our country, and if there's one thing that the powerful really hated, it was black people having a good time. So they got it as a Schedule A. Any rational thinking person knows, why would pot be a Schedule A drug? It makes zero sense. Zero. They're saying it's heroin, basically. It used to be used in food. It started as a food ingredient in China. It was a food ingredient. It's a plant. It's a plant.
And Schedule A means that there's absolutely no medical benefits whatsoever, which has already been disproven, so it should have been removed immediately. But it's still on there. Like, I don't know how we're having this discussion even in 2018. Like, I'm glad that, you know, it's finally being discussed, but why did it take this long? It's pot. It's not a big deal. And obviously there's medical benefits to it. Obviously there are psychological benefits to it for a lot of people that I know personally. It should be legal. I mean, that shouldn't even be a question. So the fact that honestly it took this long for Democrats to really start rallying around this issue, it's a little bit frustrating, but I mean, I'll take it. You know, I'll take a win where we can get it. But you can't pass a bill without expunging the record of convicts. But like you said, you know, you have to follow the money. It all goes back to money. The private prison industry has made billions of dollars from locking people up who smoked marijuana, particularly people of color. So why on earth would they want to end that now? You know, if it's going to hurt their bottom line.
Well, and one thing to add here, I find this interesting that this is hitting the news now, because what I really think is going on here is that Democrats were scrambling. I mean, first of all, me and you both know the Democrats have no identity. They have no idea who they are, because at the end of the day, we have two quote unquote parties that are bought and sold by the same people. When you have two parties that are owned by the same entity, you don't have two parties. You have one party, and it's the money party. And that's what we got in the U.S. But I think Democrats are so scrambling to get these little differential points. And recently, even John Boehner has evolved on pot because of money. I mean, let's
he evolved on pot.
Yeah, it's because of money. It's because of money. But nonetheless, John Boehner and some other Republicans are now to the left of a lot of Democrats on pot. Chelsea Clinton sounds, you know, totally archaic when she talks about pot. She's like, well, I don't know. We don't know. It might be addictive. You might smoke a joint and punch out your neighbor. We don't know yet. More research needs to be done, but we can't change the designation in the meantime. Are you kidding me? You're a young person saying this.
Yeah.
So basically, the Democrats had to do something because even the Republicans were out lefting them on this. And then public. So it's like the Democrats are over here, the Republicans are over here, and then occasionally it goes like this. Public opinion is way over here. Public opinion is way over here, and that doesn't matter. That means nothing.
Yeah. Well, like there's the study from 2014 from Princeton University where doctors Gillens and Page found that ordinary citizens like you and I, we have a statistically non-significant impact on policy outcomes. But when you look at the preferences of economic elites, business interests, multinational corporations, they have all the sway over policy outcomes. So what does that mean? It means that we are effectively an oligarchy. Big money wins everything. And one reason why I'm actually really hopeful about marijuana is kind of a dark reason why we should be hopeful. It's because marijuana is already becoming a huge industry. It's going to be so big that they are going to be able to have a lot of power and influence. They're going to be buying politicians soon. So you can bet your ass it's going to be legal in all 50 states. Part of that will be because of grassroots activism. But at one point, I think it's going to be so powerful that the industry is just, they're not going to be able to be ignored. And for that reason, I have no doubt that marijuana will win at the end of the day. But, I wish it would win based on, grassroots activism and not corruption. But, it's a win, I guess, until we can get money out of politics.
So I guess in closing here on that, I'm glad at least there's a bill and that they're doing something and that they've kind of been forced to evolve on this, even though they're still far behind public opinion. But it totally doesn't go far enough. It's great that it will prevent future lives from being ruined by archaic drug policies that should have been ditched in the 30s. But it doesn't go near far enough because they're still in bed with for-profit prisons. Hey guys, thanks for watching. That was a clip from Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means I log on to a stream and people tweet me articles over on Twitter at Ron Placone, or they use our Reddit subsection, which is just Get Your News On with Ron over on Reddit. And that's how we build the show. I'm seeing all these articles for the first time. We are literally getting our news on together. Follow me on Twitter at Ron Placone so you can participate. And this show streams live every Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please do tune in. If you want to support this show, you can do so over on patreon.com/Ron Placone, where for as low as $1 a month, you get access to exclusive podcasts every week, exclusive videos, free tickets to shows when I'm performing in your town, and more for as low as $1 a month. Please do consider it. Thank you so much for your support. This has been Get Your News On with Ron.